I am experiencing so much pleasure in our discussion this week. I would like to say that there's something very special I'd like to show that really gives that explanation to our discussion. Um, this object is something that really resonated with like a term of objectified qualities that pertain to life situations and life itself through my relative, a family member, my father, who is very important to me. He well because he my father. But I'd like to say that this object is Goyard. Goyard is a brand, like a bag brand, and they do wallets. This brand is so meaningful to me because of the fact that it just completely uh, comprises key terms that apply to like physical well-being that could be lived throughout life. So something like Goyard is very uh, inspiring and very meaningful. I'd like to say that the uh, reason for that is because of um, you know I was very self conscious in who I was, and just and this goes throughout life, and just how uh, applying life concepts to things that I run into in life, and how it in fact just how something so phenomenal or like a phenomenon, and that like you would be perceived as so. Trying to explain that to you and convey it to you is difficult, because it's something you do every day, all day. So like go yard would be like something that's like well, it pertains to my father for the reason of that by uh how can I tell you? So he used to own a construction business, a scrap metal business. So it meant a lot to him, and how he used to apply work, and how he would take on his work, and how he would take pride in his work. Now, pride was kind of a concept that I like kind of had issues with pride, because of not just because I was just trying to find out who I was, what my name meant, my name, who I am, and anything that uh, would would pertain to me in everyday circumstances for the concept of our discussion, and how it just uh, would apply in everyday life. But like for instance, the word cognition would or has a very uh, a very concepted way of just capturing that that thought, or that application of life, like cognition. So that's what I'm trying to describe to you. So cognition, and just the way it sounds, just kind of just captures some of that terminology or methodology of what would be used. So or what would be conceptually answered in the concept I'm trying to describe to you. So, for instance, just like this reminds me of law as well. So, law in like the Second Amendment, it reminds me of very much Viat Armis, because of I'm still trying to learn that one. It's a little bit difficult, but the Second Amendment, like uh, the right to bear arms, or kind of defends that reasoning, and why I have my cognition, and that why my life story and life learnings and life teachings had been so inspirational, now knowing that through age and through who I am, and how much older I'm getting, and how much it really means to defend, or kind of just like kind of that logo, just the way the logo looks is very like uh strong, and very defensive. So that was said in the chapter, and how patterns, and how patterns kind of are seen in very conceptualized ways, Aesthetics and memory. So that kind of goes with what I'm trying to say for this discussion. Um, the aesthetic of memory um, is just a big portion of cognition, and how those three terms kind of roll between each other are very important. And I can see why we have to discuss this in psychology and design. Um, the uh, the brand is more about the brand than just the Second Amendment, even though it's a pretty big part of it. Um, I don't know, just like key little memories that just fall right within it. So I would like to say honor. Honor is a good one. Uh, the Goyard. Now that would be played in just like it's kind of just you know I I don't know. I don't know how to explain that to you. Just it's very you know playful. Not playful, but it's not I don't know how to explain something that you take seriously but yet kind of just bounces between, kind of like the three definitions of our discussion, and how those discussions or how those definitions bounce between each other, and how they just interlock in between each other and bounce. So that's very inspiring. And just that against the brand makes a very strong uh, position or attribute, uh, something that a brand would give you. A brand means what a brand means to someone. So it it's a little bit hard to describe for me. I tried my best. That's okay. I hope that kind of narrated some of what I'm trying to tell you. But if we go down into the second part of their discussion, it in fact goes on to kind of describing that, as I can see. So let me see if I can get it here. Hold on. I have it right here. It's just I'm trying to get. So simplicity. I'll start with each one. Simplicity. If I had to try and convey simplicity, um, how it's something so hard to describe, but I know where it's just like I know where it is positioned, like in such a way. All right, let me try again. So simplicity, right? By having the brand as like itself is sort of simplistic, but the fact that the brand, like what it means to me, is separate from its simplicity. So the meaning, the term, there's a difference. There is a difference in that word. But unity would be like something you would thrive for. I thought of that too as well in comparison. Like people, you run into people who have the same brand. It's kind of a form of unity. They do correspond with one another. So like that's pretty cool. Leading back to the Second Amendment, the First Amendment, and stuff like that, and how unity is used in just the fashion world, I assume. But transformation, um, surroundings, transformation, that that lifelong story that just transformed me to be stronger for who I am, and how this logo, or how the logo mean what that means to me. Um, surroundings, you walk in public with it. I'd like to work on that part of myself too, because I don't wear it as often as I should. But I kind of hide my wallet. I hide it. I don't really show it. But you know that that surrounding aspect, I can use a little bit of a strong suit. You know, it's just the fact of I'm trying to work on my outfits that go with it. But I don't know. Animation, pattern, more like pattern than animation. Pattern, the pattern of the term. So maybe going back into the e-text, I saw that you know now that I bring up surroundings, that how smell, taste, and our five senses applied to that physique in the meaning of the brand or the item. So it's very hard to express why the surroundings is so difficult for me to try and be be who I inspire to be in surroundings. So um, it's a little bit harder to to try and put, but pattern is the reason why that surroundings kind of eases that foundation of where I'm having this difficult time. But it's not. It's getting better the older I get. It's getting better the more I study, and the more I think about the way things are and the way the world is applied to what I do. Surround a surprise, yeah, like a surprise. It's like a constant surprise that you can't quite expect to happen. Like things that happen in life are just very hard to try and grasp. But like things like this, where you have to have a meaning. You have to have a meaning in life, and that surprise meets the meaning, and when it meets that meaning, it's very uh, uh, purposeful. So that word purposeful is so strongly uh, admitted into the concept of how people are physically in their positions. So it's hard to have it so when someone is in a situation, how you apply that selection's the next one. Selection was a good one. And spontaneity. So these things just fall right within each other, and it's hard to try and you know conceptualize these things when it requires a meaning, requires a purpose. So that's all. If you did enjoy, leave a like. Thank you.